Hello everyone, I am Paras. Today I will be presenting on a detailed summary of the Doctrine of Discovery, focusing on Pope Alexander VI, Papal Bull Inter Caetera, issued on May 4, 1493. This document played a critical role in the shaping European colonization of the Americas, granting Spain sweeping rights over newly discovered lands. It is important to understand that this was not simply a religious message, it was also a political and legal tool that gave Spain the authority to expand its empire, dominate trade, and claim sovereignty over indigenous lands for centuries to come. Let's start with the historical background. In 1492, Christopher Columbus completed his first voyage across the Atlantic under the supership sponsorship of Spain's monarchs. He reported finding islands and lands previously unknown to Europeans. At this time, Spain wanted to ensure it had a full control over these new territories before other European powers, particularly Portugal, could make completing claims. The Pope, who had significant influence in political matters, stepped in to mediate. In Inter-Caetera, Pope Alexander VI drew an imaginary line under 100 leagues west of Azore and Cape Verde Islands. All lands west of this line, not already ruled by a Christian Powell, were granted exclusively to Spain. This gave Spain a monopoly on a new exploration and trade in much of the New World. Next slide is Papal authority. The Pope justified this decision through his position as a vicar of Christ, meaning to representative of Jesus on earth. In this late 15th century, the Pope was seen as having both spiritual and moral authority over Christian monarchs. The document declared that any land not inhabited by Christians could be claimed by Christian rulers. This was the essence of the doctrine of discovery, the idea that non Christian lands could be discovered and taken over even if they were already inhabited. This was a powerful concept between it transformed exploration into a religious mission and gave a legal framework for its conquest. Slide 4 is religious objectives. The bull stated that the goal was to exalt the Catholic faith and to spread it worldwide. It specially called for the conversion of barbarous nations, meaning indigenous peoples, to Christianity. It also mentioned caring for the health of souls and teaching people good morals, while framed as benevolent. These goals were tied to the idea replacing indigenous belief system with European religion and cultural values. For the Church, this was about expanding its spiritual reach. For Spain, it was also about securing political powers and access to resources. The Pope gave Spain not just rights but clear responsibilities. First one was conversion. Actively work to convert indigenous people to Catholicism. Second one was education. Appoint skilled and religious faithful teachers to instruct them in the faith and European moral standards. Third one was expansion. Continue exploring to find and claim more territories west of the line. The Pope urged the Spanish crown to pursue these goals with courage, even if it meant enduring great danger and expenses. In return, he promised that God's blessing would guide their efforts. The bull scope was vast. It applied to all island and mainland territories west of the demarcation line, regardless of size or location, as long as no Christian rules claimed them before Christmas of 1492. Spain was given full legal jurisdiction, political authority, and trade monopoly over these territories. Other nations were strictly forbidden to travel there for trade or any other purpose without Spain's permission. Violating these terms carried several consequences: automatic excommunication from the Catholic Church. They show how seriously the Church took enforce of these dictates. The doctrine of discovery became the foundation for European colonial expansion in the Americas. For centuries, it was used to justify taking indigenous land, exploiting resources, and imposing European governance. Its influence reached beyond the colonial era. In 1823, in the United States Supreme Court case, Johnson v. McIntosh, Chief Justice John Marshall used the doctrine of declare that discovery gave European nations and later their successor state full-length title to land. Indigenous people in this view had only a right of occupancy that could be removed at any time. The legal precedents shaped land policies across North America and contributed to dispossession of indigenous community well into the modern era. In conclusion, the doctrine of discovery was far more than a religious statement. It was combined religious, political, and legal framework that enabled Spain to dominate much of its New World. It merged the Church's goal of spreading Christianity with Spain's ambitions for empire building. It justified the taking of non-Christian lands and placed indigenous peoples in a position of legal and political disadvantage of generations. Its legacy is still felt today, as many legal systems in the Americas continue to be influenced by the principle it established over 500 years ago. Thank you.